Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about the races at Randwick tomorrow. Obviously, the Doncaster, which is the feature race, and you've got the Australian Derby, the TJ Smith, and the Size Produce. So, four Group 1s, and then there's plenty of other stakes races around the rest of the card. So, yeah, I'll talk about a few of these races. Although, first off, my last video, which was a Dubai World Cup preview, was the best performing video I've made so far. So if you're waiting on a recap, I'm sorry, but it'll come out probably next week when everything's like died down about it, because there's been a few stories that have come out of that meeting. So yeah, there'll be plenty to talk about. But in this video, I'm going to talk about the racing tomorrow. Really good day. I'm going to be there. Hopefully it's not too rainy. But yeah, we'll start off with the kindergarten stakes, 1100 metres, 2-year-olds, Group 3. I think this race is more sort of for those horses that are maybe a tier, maybe 2 tiers below, like Golden Slipper type level. Obviously, Incognito was very hyped after his first start. He won very well on debut, and then kind of hasn't really lived up to the heights that we sort of thought he might reach. So yeah, he's dropped back in grade here, and I think he should be too good. Like he looks just so much better than the rest of these. And then you've got interestingly down the bottom, Blue Door, who's having her first start, and she's $5, so she must be like really good or something. Like she must have had a few good trials. I don't really watch trials, to be honest. Yeah, I'm a bit of casual, bit of a fake fan. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she goes. And then you've got a horse called Bangkok Hottie, which is a bit of a strange name, to be honest. So we'll move on to the next race. That'll be a no-bet race for me, the kindergarten. We'll move on to the next one, the Adrian Knox Stakes, 2,000 metres, 3-year-old fillies. It's an interesting race. You've got the likes of Spicy Lou, who won the Ethereal Stakes at Caulfield in the spring, which is Group 3 over the same distance. She goes quite well. I think this is getting up to her sort of range. Although like her prior form just hasn't really enthused me that much. So I think there's better options here. Solverato is quite interesting because she came fourth in the Far Lap Stakes last start, obviously against the Colts and Geldings, which is quite a strong form line going into this. I think a lot of these are coming from the Kembla Grange Classic. You got Classic Gem, who came second in a Group 3 mile race at Caulfield last start, and then you got a few of these at the bottom, which are kind of just like thrown here to make up the numbers, I guess. And why wouldn't you? It's the day one of the championships. Like it's a great day for owners. And if you can have a horse that might sneak a place or show us like run a big race, I guess. Yeah, it's definitely worth like entering, I guess. But in this race, I like Profoundly. I think she's a really good chance. Tommy Berry booked. The track shouldn't be a worry. She goes well on both, but dry and wet ground. And I was really impressed with her running the Kembla Grange Classic. I thought the winner just scraped by, and if you look at the replay, Profoundly was just like really coming into it and finished off really strongly, hit the line very well. So I think 2,000 metres is going to suit this horse down to the ground. And that'll be my first bet on Doncaster today, I think. There's racing at Caulfield too, but it's literally like two shitty handicaps, so not really worth talking about this week. But yeah, as I said, I think Profoundly is a really good chance here. And I think the winner of the race is going to find 2,000 metres too long. So, interesting race. Move on to the next one. The Chairman's Quality. 2,600 metres for the anyone, I guess. It's 3-year-olds and up. So, Group 2. These are kind of the real pluggers. Like, these are the real battler sort of stayers. They probably aren't good enough to win a Melbourne Cup or a Caulfield Cup, but they can run in these Group 2s, Group 3s, these like this handicaps. So this is set weights and penalties. So I have actually had a closer look at this. You got Changing of the Guard, who I remember won that race. Like I think it was at the start of the spring where I think J-Mac rode it and he just let it rip, and it was a really good ride. It really used the horse's staying ability, which we haven't really seen since. He hasn't really fired. You got Travolta, who is actually my pick for this race. I just need to check though. How's he go on soft ground? He goes okay. yeah, if it's soft, I'm not going to complain. I think he should enjoy that, and I think 2,600 meters is really his trip. I think he won the St Ledger, the ATC St Ledger last spring. So yeah, I think this is getting more up to his range. I think maybe 2,000 meters, a mile and a half is a bit short. And then if you look at some of these, like Tara Mansour, I think he ran really well in the Melbourne Cup or something. I don't know. He ran into some big race. I think it might have been the Melbourne Cup. But yeah, I think it's just going to be sort of these average sort of stayers. That is interesting though. Sao Lin, who, if you don't know, is a Yulong purchase. This is her first Australian start. Although to me, it doesn't seem like the most conventional Yulong investment, especially when you consider all the amazing fillies and mares they've bought. This seems like a bit of a weird one because this horse used to be a hurdler, or it was at least like running in the hurdling ranks. Like I think it won the champion bumper at Aintree last year. So it's if anything, it needs like 2 miles. This is going to be like really short for it, 2,600 meters. So I'm curious to see how she goes, but I just can't see her doing well, to be honest. It's, as I said, it's not the most conventional Yulong purchase. They're known for buying horses like Via Sistina, Barnavara. So it seems weird that they've gone out and bought this horse, but you know, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And then you got horses like New Look, who was quite a handy French horse actually. I actually remember him. He was quite consistent. He won a listed race over there, and then he's come out here. And last start, he actually ran very well. It was a massive price. I think it was about 40-1, and he ran 5th. So, you know, he might benefit from this extra furlong in the race. So, I think Travolta's my pick for this race. But yeah, as I said, it's kind of just like an average sort of staying race. It could easily be confused as a listed race or a Group 3. But we'll move on to the Carbine Club Stakes, which is a mile for the 3-year-olds. It's an okay race. I mean, did Rivellino win like a size produce as a 2-year-old? I was trying to, because I'm just a bit lazy and like I couldn't be bothered to check. I swear he won like a size produce or something. I don't know why I thought that. No, he didn't even win. Hasn't even won a Group 1. Anyways, move on. Obviously Rivellino and West of Swindon both carrying a lot of weight, which I think will be the undoing of them. Now this is the one that I'm really fascinated by, Aerodrome. Barrier 1 should be fine on the soft, or even if it dries up a little bit. He won the Canberra Guineas last start, which I get probably isn't that strong of a race, but I think it's quite an open race. This, I think, from Barrier 1, Regan Bayliss can kind of choose what he wants to do. I think he's an interesting horse, Aerodrome. And then you got Providence, who won a maiden and then got rushed a little bit to the Randwick Guineas, which sometimes it works, but it didn't. Kind of backfired a little bit last time. Crossbow won a midweek at Kensington the other week. And yeah, it's just a bunch of sort of okay horses. Although I think Aerodrome's the good one here. I think at $8.50 as well seems like a good price. There's not a great deal to say about this race, to be honest, other than the two at the top are just carrying too much weight. And I think West of Swindon's a bit of a cat as well, so we'll move on to the next one. Oh, we're not talking about the country championships. Fuck that. Screw that. All right, English size produce. Right, this is such a good race. Like, honestly, amazing 2-year-old race this. But I'm just going to cut to the chase. Campione d'Italia, I think if it stays soft and there's a bit of juice in the ground, I think he's going to win this. But if it gets dry, like, he's never ran well on like a good track. I know it's quite like a European thing to say that like he needs a soft track or whatever, but I think that might be the case with him. If it's soft, I think it's going to be his race to lose. But if it does dry up, I think there's other horses here. Obviously, Fireball ran. A lot of these horses come from the Golden Slipper. Fireball ran okay, running 7th. Tornado Valley came 2nd in the Magic Millions race, and then kind of didn't really fire. I think it was in the Skyline last start. No, sorry, the Todman. You got Paradoxium, who's once again drawn atrociously, and I think 1,400 is really going to find him out. Zambales, who got rolled in the VRC size produce at like $1.40 or something, which was kind of weird, to be honest. And I thought it was even weirder that they went to the Golden Slipper afterwards, like dropping back from 7 furlongs back to 6 just stinks, to be honest. Rich on Bubbles, who won a listed race last start, I think, she might be handy in the future, but I think this might be too much of a jump in grade too soon. And then this one I like as well, Outspan. Came second in the Pago last start, and even if it's soft as well, like it should be fine. I think he's a massive price at $29. I think you can get 30s elsewhere, so I'll probably have something on him. And if the track stays soft, I think Campione d'Italia's a good thing in this. And then if you look further down, everyone is on the Streisand bandwagon, obviously. And I agree with this statement that she's the best 2-year-old filly in the country. Obviously won the Blue Diamond and then kept battling away off a brutal tempo in the Golden Slipper and came second. So, I think I saw on that what's his name, Kingsley Bartholomew's I think it's called the Saturday set, where they talk about the races. He made the case that is she going to be a bit burnt out from 2 hard runs, and I don't think so. I think one of them said it's just the horse, that's just how they are. I think I tend to agree with that as well. So I think Streisand's going to be hard to beat, but I just some of these 2-year-old colts, they're just big sturdy animals, and I think the likes of Campione d'Italia and Outspan could roll her, to be honest. So they're the 2 that I'm really interested in that race. We'll continue now to the TJ Smith Stakes. One of the legendary sprinting Group 1s in Australia. It's a great addition. You got Jimmy Star, who just didn't really fire last start upon his seasonal return. Briasa, who, to be fair, that's a big effort, coming 4th in a Galaxy off top weight first up. That's a very admirable performance. Then there's Giga Kick as well. Won the champion sprint in the spring on a heavy track, and then kind of hasn't really fired this autumn. Overpass, who's just ultra consistent, has become a regular fixture in the WA, running in those slot races like the Quokka. I think it was the Winterbottom that he ran second in 2 starts back. So yeah, it's a good race. Jolly Star as well, who I've backed her last 2 starts, so she's one of my favourite horses at the moment. But another personal rule of mine is going down in trip, and she's going from the Canterbury Stakes, which was 1,300. Back to 1,200, and to the untrained eye, that's probably not much of a difference, but I think it is. And I think it's the shorter the distance is, like a sprint race, the more of a challenge it is for the horse to compress themselves and sharpen up when they go down in trip, if that makes sense. So I can't have Jolly Star. Leaves me 1 horse, but it's very track dependent. Tentyrus. We need to get some drying weather if I'm gonna get on this horse, but I think he's the best sprinter in the country. That performance in the Lightning was exceptional on debut, obviously, and even in the Newmarket, carrying all that weight, and apparently he pulled up with cardiac arrhythmia to come 5th. That is an enormous effort, I reckon. So I think you can easily forgive his last start running the Newmarket as a 3-year-old carrying 57 kilos, 57.5 kilos. So I think if the track comes up a little bit drier, I think he just wins this. And I could see it being like when Chautauqua won it in that emphatic fashion years ago, I could see it being similar to that. He comes blitzing home from out the back of the TV or something. So yeah, I do love this horse. I think he's exceptional, but he does need a bit of a drier track. I don't think he's run on a soft track before. So yeah, it's just too much of a punt if it's a wet track. So yeah, I hope it dries up a little bit for Tentyrus. Alright, the Doncaster, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I don't like handicaps. I say it in all my videos pretty much. If Shares Alibi gets clear air, she just wins this. 49 kilos. It's one of the best handicapped horses I've ever seen. Obviously destroying them in the Randwick in his last start, which is, there's a debate about how good certain Group 1s are in Australia, and it's definitely one of the better ones for 3-year-olds. So, and carrying that weight, like, she can't, it's her race to lose, isn't it? Like, yeah, I can't really look beyond She's Alibi. I think she'll just win. However, I will make the case that I think one of these grittier, more seasoned milers could give her a fright. And when I say that, I'm talking about 3 horses here. Pericles evaporates to party. I think, obviously, Pericles ran 3rd in the George Ryder last start. I think it was a George Ryder where Autumn Glow won. And he's like kind of been on the cusp of being like a really good miler as well. Like, he really loomed into the King Charles Stakes last spring, and then obviously got beaten by a really gallant Chaewolf in the Champions Mile. So I think Pericles is one of those gritty sort of, like, I think, yeah, he's at the top echelon of this sport. Obviously, She's Alibi's on her way, but Pericles is a gritty 6-year-old gelding. And I make the same case for Evaporate, although he's a little bit younger than Pericles. He ran very credibly in the All-Star Mile, being the lead-up horse, like, to Pride of Jenny. You know how one horse has to do a bit of the chasing, that type of role that Evaporate filled in that race. So I think those two are interesting. And then Stapati's really come into form as of late. Ran an excellent race in the All-Star Mile. So I think that All-Star Mile form is actually like quite good for this. But I still lean towards my initial statement. If She's Alibi gets clear air from barrier 13, and doesn't have to do too much work, she'll just win this, like, 49 kilos. It's going to look like a conveyor belt, I reckon, when she like comes flying home. All right, last one, I think. Oh, there's one after this, but I'm just not that intrigued by it. The ATC Australian Derby, 2,400 metres. Interesting betting race, as there normally is with these derbies, because there's a lot of unknowns. We'll start off with Observer. Now, I'm still on the Observer bandwagon, to be honest, especially with James McDonald riding here. He's VRC Derby winner, Australian Guineas winner. That Rosehill Guineas just didn't really favour him at all. They went very slow. Craig Williams, wasn't the most excellent ride by him. But now J-Mac gets on board, and we know this horse will get 1.5 miles. I hope J-Mac makes this like a challenge for the rest of these. So I think Observer is one of the better stayers here. If we do get drying weather and we get good ground, I'm gonna have a bet on Observer, but it's got to be if it's drier, because obviously last start it was his first start on the wet and he didn't really fire. Although there were other factors, as I mentioned before, to do with the pace of the race, stuff like that. So yeah, I do like Observer. Road to Paris, I'm a fan of. Won the New Zealand Derby last start, and I'm kind of thinking that the New Zealand horses are just really good this year. And that's franked by Belle Cheval winning the Vinery the other week. I hope Hey Wins didn't really fire, but she's going to be cherry ripe for the Oaks now, so that'll be more her sort of distance. And I think Road to Paris is interesting. I think we'll get any ground. Zach Purton gets the ride, who we don't see him in Australia very often. So I think as a punter, you got to capitalise on these really elite FIFO jockeys. And when I say really elite, there's maybe a few, and he's one of them. Not fucking Karis Teaton or some shit like that. So yeah, I think Road to Paris is a good one here. New Zealand Derby winner. It's such at the top of the market. It's so close here. Like Green Spaces 2, you can make such a strong case for. He's stunk of a Derby horse for a long time. I don't know. I just think Observer and Road to Paris might be better horses. Deal Done Fast, like his 2 starts back at Caulfield, he came literally flying home. He was just given no favours by the jockey that day. And he's by It's a Done Deal, who I believe won the Derby, or he's one of those weight for age horses. So there's a few horses here that could surprise. Like he's going to come flying home, Deal Done Fast. Storm Leopard won very well last week on the 1 week backup. Won very cozily. Although to be honest, I think Arcora would have just won if it kept going. But like whatever, you don't know what was going to happen. But I think there's better horses here than Storm Leopard. Then there's Federalist, who's somehow still a maiden. He's obviously quite talented, but like, come on, like, go win a race. Don't try and win the Derby as your maiden race. And then some of these are just kind of there for the day out. So I think it's between the top two, Observer and Road to Paris. Although, like, it depends on the track. Like, if it stays wet, then I'll probably just do Green Spaces and Road to Paris. But if we do get drying weather, I'll switch out Green Spaces and have Observer. But Road to Paris, I'm a fan of regardless of the track. I think he's quite a good horse. And that's about it. I think, there's around the world, there's some racing in America. I think there's some like Kentucky Derby, like Group 1 lead-ups, those sorts of races. So, there's a bit of racing around the world. And I think there's some listed races in Ireland as well. So, there's good racing around the world this weekend. But I think, obviously, Randwick takes centre stage with these incredible Group 1s, some incredible storylines taking place. So if you like this sort of thing, just like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. As I said before, I'll do a Dubai World Cup recap next week, obviously, because my preview is one of my best videos. So, as I said, like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.